guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Alexa. If you are new, this should be only like my second vlog I think on here. And if you guys are from my TikTok, hi, welcome. I am doing a video on all things rhinoplasty. I had a nose job just a little bit over a month ago, and I'm gonna share with you guys the process, how I found my doctor, everything leading up to it, the scheduling, everything down to what I ate, drank before, how the recovery process was and how it's still going, how I've been feeling mentally, physically, everything like that. So if you want to see the before and afters, from my nose job, you can check that out on my TikTok. I will have all of that stuff linked down below, but you can find me at Alexa Gantz on TikTok, Alexa Gantz on my Instagram, and you can check out my videos and my posts there to see what I look like before and then what I look like after. But I am currently a month and a few days post-op, and this is what my nose is looking like. I do have makeup on, it is contoured, it is still very swollen, and it will be like that for a while. The full recovery process takes a year and a half, so it is quite the process of healing, and it is not fun, I will tell you that. But this is what my nose is looking like from the front. Not horrible today, not the best. This is what my nose is looking like from the side. And I wrote down a bunch of things that you guys had questions about on my Instagram and on my TikTok, and I will go over all of that stuff with you guys. I am actually very excited to share because I wish I found one of these videos on YouTube before my surgery. I was like scouring the internet for all things about nose jobs because I wanted to know everything. I was very scared. I was very anxious. I hadn't experienced surgery before, so being my first surgery, it was definitely pretty scary, especially having something done to your face. It changes your face forever, and you want to make sure you go to the right person. You want to make sure that your doctor is right for you, and that you're prepared and ready to go through all of the different things about changing your facial features and making sure that you are excited and ready to do that. So I have a bunch of things written down, and I'm going to share that with you guys. If you end up having other questions that I don't talk about, please comment them or reach out to me on TikTok or Instagram, and I'm happy to message you back and talk to you about things. If you've had a rhinoplasty and you have questions, or you are thinking about having a rhinoplasty and have questions about that, but I am not a doctor. These are all just things that I did, and this was my experience, so take that with a grain of salt. Everything is different for everybody, but I am actually very excited to share these. So I'm going to start with talking about how long I wanted to get my nose done and how many surgeons I had consultations with before I found my doctor who did my surgery. So I had been talking about getting a rhinoplasty done since high school, probably when I was like 15, 16, but I feel like at that time you're still super young, you're still developing, your body is still growing, and like I was too scared, and just I wanted to do it, but I was too scared to actually go through with something like that at such a young age. So during COVID in 2020, I actually had my first consultation. I had just turned 20, and I had a consultation with a doctor in Michigan. I'm originally from Michigan, so that is why I had a consultation with a doctor in Michigan, and I ultimately did not like the result he was going to be giving me. They did before and afters, like a simulation, and I really didn't like what he was doing. Like, it was very natural, and not that I didn't want something supernatural, but I really did not like my nose beforehand, and I really kind of wanted a drastic change. It still looks very natural, but I wanted something a little bit more than what he was willing to give, and so I did not want to go forward with using him as my doctor, so I kind of just put it on the back burner. Up until actually this past summer, I had a consultation with another doctor in Michigan, and he also did a simulation and showed me my nose, and I did like what he had showed me, but I had heard some things about him, and I just didn't really like what I was hearing, so I ultimately was like, you know what, like, not that he isn't a great doctor, but I really want to have full faith and trust in my doctor. And make sure that I am doing it the right way. So then fast forward a couple months into, I believe, like September, October, my cousin actually had her nose done with this surgeon and ended up really loving him. She loved him. So I did a consultation. He offered free consultations and they were virtual. Which was awesome because I am not located in New York City and that is where he is located. So that was awesome. Did a consultation with him, loved him, thought that he was very knowledgeable, and I really liked what he stood for. He doesn't believe in doing a like before and after photo before you have surgery. He really asks you to take a look at his work on social media and on his website to see if you like his outcomes, and then based off of that is if you feel like you like that stuff, then you should go ahead and schedule like a second consultation or get started in scheduling your surgery. So right away, I knew that I loved him. I loved his results and his outcomes. So I actually was able to make a little bit of a vision board of his previous patient, what I would like my nose to look like or something similar. And we got ahead with that and then started the scheduling process. So it all moved relatively very quickly. I believe I had my consultation the first or second week of October. And then by the end of October, I had decided to schedule my surgery. I scheduled my surgery for December 6th, I think is when I scheduled it. And the process moved very quickly. I then had a pre-op appointment with him, I believe like the second week of November, where we talked about what he was going to do to my nose, and that was also virtual, which was very helpful that I didn't have to drive 5 hours to New York City just for a pre-op appointment and then drive all the way back. So that was great. And then from there, you have some paperwork to fill out. You have to get signed off by your primary doctor, so you have to have a physical done within 30 days of your surgery, and you also have to have a whole panel of blood work done. This is just so the surgeon is not liable for any pre-existing conditions, so that they know about all of them beforehand, and it's basically saying that your primary doctor is signing off on you having this surgery. This was something I did not know that you had to do up until literally 2 weeks before my surgery, so my primary physician, he is awesome and he was able to help me with all of this stuff, but I don't live where my primary doctor is, so this was a little bit tough, but it ended up all working out. But that's something that I wish I would have known, that you have to have your primary doctor sign off on it. You have to have a physical, you have to have a bunch of blood work done beforehand, and yes, that is quite a bit. But then before my surgery, I headed to New York City the day before my surgery, and then the next morning I had surgery, and I was actually able to go home the same day and drive back out to the Boston area where I live and spend the full week of recovery at home, which was very nice. However, I did have a very hard recovery. I am a smaller person, so I feel like things affect me a little bit differently, and the anesthesia didn't mess me up like right afterwards, but I was nauseous for a few days and I didn't have an appetite. I really didn't want to drink any water, so I was super dehydrated, not eating much, on antibiotics. I didn't end up taking any of the pain meds that they gave me because I was really insistent on just taking extra strength Tylenol. I was super uncomfortable throughout the process, but I wouldn't say I was in a ton of pain. It was more just like really, really uncomfortable, like crawl out of your skin uncomfortable, if that makes sense. That was a really tough week. I actually ended up being super dehydrated that I passed out one morning. And thank God my mom is a nurse and she was actually staying here with me for the week. So everything was okay. I ended up being perfectly fine. I started to drink a lot more water. But by day 7, I was in New York City again to get my cast off, and that was an experience in itself, let me tell you. I had seen so many girls doing like, oh my god, nose reveal, post-op, get my cast off with me, all of that kind of stuff, and I was so excited because I was like, I know my nose is going to be swollen. I'm so excited to see it. Like, I know I'm going to love it. Could not have been farther from the truth. I was miserable the day that I got my cast off. My nose looked like Squidward. I was so scared. I thought I completely did something so bad. I messed up my face. The whole 9 yards. So if you are struggling and you just got your cast off and you're super swollen, I am so sorry. I went through the same thing and it's still really swollen. I'm still not like in love with it, but I'm really happy with my results and I'm excited to see how the healing process continues. So if that's where you're at, don't be upset, don't be scared. Like, it will get better. Wear a hat, wear a hoodie for a few weeks. Like, it's only a couple weeks out of your life and you will be so happy with your results. So that's what I have to say about that. I will say that the recovery process, once you stop bleeding, you get to take the gauze off from under your nose. And I was not expecting this, but I had so much dry, clotted blood on my nostrils. And personally, my surgeon did not want me to like clean it or get it off my nose. So I was stuck with like dry, clotted blood like in my nostrils for a full week. And that was like making me crazy. It was probably the worst part of the whole thing, was that you couldn't breathe out of your nose, and it was just really tough to have dried blood like up your nose and not being able to breathe because it was there, and sleeping sitting up. My tongue, oh my god, was so dry. It was like cardboard. So that is tough. But after the 7 days, you feel so much better. You start to feel like yourself. You will be swollen, and it is what it is. Talk a little bit about what I did to prepare for my surgery. I really didn't know what to do. I was just very concerned with bruising. I did not want to bruise. I did not want black eyes. I went to my boyfriend's hockey game 2 days after I had surgery. I still had a cast on, the gauze on my nose and everything, but I was determined not to bruise. I wanted to go out in public and not look like I got punched in the face. So I drank 64 ounces of pineapple juice as the last thing that I put in my body the night before surgery. You can't eat past midnight that night. So I did drank 64 ounces of pineapple juice. That was the last thing that I put in my body. And I was drinking pineapple juice for a few days beforehand. I also started taking arnica right after surgery, but I would actually recommend doing that 10 days before. I would also recommend pineapple juice 10 days before. And I also cut out coffee, I believe 3 or 5 days beforehand. Just because I heard that that was good to do that. And then no alcohol. I didn't drink alcohol for like basically a month before my surgery, but I believe it's like 10 days. You can't take any Advil for 10 days before your surgery because it's a blood thinner and they don't want you to bleed. So that's everything that you kind of do beforehand, but I would really recommend the pineapple juice if you're gonna do anything to try and prevent bruising. I had almost no bruising the entire time. I had just like little bits of yellow under my eyes. Nothing ever got purple, like red, anything like that, which I was really, really happy about. However, I did swell like quite a bit. That was a little bit tough because you just don't feel like yourself already. But when you think about the trauma that they do to your nose and your face, like they're breaking your nose, they're putting it back together. It's in the center of your face. Like obviously you're gonna swell. Obviously like it's gonna be like quite a bit of healing. So that's just something that like comes with it. So that was pretty much it for the healing. So I did have my surgery in New York City. I did my surgery with Dr. Reich. He is the rhinoplasty god. He is amazing. He's awesome. He did my surgery, and he actually operates, I believe, 5 days a week, which is amazing. Most surgeons only operate 1 or 2 days a week, so he's very quick to get into because he operates so much. He operates out of his own practice, and then he also operates out of Manhattan ear, nose, and throat for certain insurance cases. Which I actually had mine out of the Manhattan Ear, Nose, and Throat Hospital because I did a rhinoplasty and septoplasty. I did have a deviated septum, so I was able to have a septoplasty as well to fix some of my breathing and to fix the straightness of my nose, which was very nice. So with all that considered, I had a little bit more done to my nose, which may have been why my healing was a little bit different and why I struggled a bit. As for what it cost, I would say having your surgery done with a well-known surgeon in New York City, LA, whatever, the cost is probably comparable. So my surgery was, I believe, 17K without the septoplasty part, and the septoplasty part was covered by insurance, but I believe that was an extra 3 or 4,000. So total, I believe, is around 20K. I had the septoplasty part, again, covered by insurance, but the rhinoplasty part is cosmetic, so insurance obviously does not cover that. So that is kind of the price point I would say that would be normal for having your surgery done by a well-known surgeon out of like Miami, New York, LA, that kind of thing. I know the price differs depending on the state, depending on the surgeon, but I really wanted to have my surgery done by a well-known surgeon who was known for noses. That was extremely important to me because I was so worried about my face, and I really didn't hate the front profile of my nose to begin with, so I was very scared about what that was going to look like. So I'm really happy that I went to Dr. Reich. He was awesome. I would recommend him to everyone and anyone looking to have their nose done. He does an amazing job. He does men and women. He does all kinds of like reconstructive nose jobs and that kind of stuff. So if you are looking for a surgeon for a rhinoplasty or having a second rhinoplasty done, I would definitely recommend him. I had actually gotten a lot of questions from people about smiling after their rhinoplasty. So just like the rest of your face, your mouth, your lips are going to swell as well. The top lip in particular swells a ton because it's the closest obviously to your nose. So my top lip was so funny, me trying to smile. It's like almost like gives you Botox and you like can't move, you can't smile, like your top lip literally just will not work. So my lip is getting less and less stiff as the days go on, but I will say probably up until about week 3 it was really funny. I like would laugh and my smile would look so funny. So don't be afraid if you can't move your top lip. I've had a lot of girls reach out to me about that. That just comes with it. It'll eventually, you'll get movement and stuff back. That is something that they told me that would happen, and I'm actually really glad they told me because I was actually scared too. So don't be afraid of that. So how I'm feeling now, I'm very happy that I did it. I would do it again. I'm loving my results so far. I really would like my swelling to go down, but I know it's a process. So I'm just kind of now embracing it, and eventually it will go down. Eventually it will be perfect. It does take 1.5 years for it to completely go down, which sucks, but I understand. But how I was feeling right after surgery and how it made me feel like that first week of recovery, you will go through a point where you are like, why did I do this to myself? Like, this was by choice. I decided to do this. I decided to like mess with my face. And there is a whole point in recovery, probably like day 3 or 4, where it sucks. You literally don't want to go anywhere. You can't leave. You feel like shit. And you literally ask yourself, like, why did I voluntarily do this to myself? This is so messed up. But that will pass, and you will eventually start to love your nose, and just know everybody feels like that. It is very tough mentally to have your nose done. People who haven't had their nose done will not understand, but it is extremely hard mentally to see yourself a different way, and then once you get your cast off, to then see this whole different face, which to people around you, they may not notice it as much. It may not be as much of a difference to them. Like personally for me, some people like didn't even notice, which I guess like we love that. We don't want someone to be like, oh my god, like that means something's wrong, you know, like if your face doesn't look normal. But for me, it's really tough. It still is a little bit tough. Some days when my nose is more swollen, I'm like looking in the mirror and I'm just like, you know, like this is not me. This does not look like me. It was really tough right after I had surgery and got my cast off because you just don't feel like yourself. And it's hard to see that in the mirror and, you know, feel confident. But just know that will pass. For me, makeup honestly has really been helping. A good contour on the nose does a lot once you have your nose done and you're healing. The swelling is so bad. Like, I was told to do a low sodium diet for my swelling, and let me tell you, I just like sodium. Like sushi, chips, sandwiches, like I don't know. I wasn't eating a lot to begin with after recovery, so anything that I did want to eat, you know, I was just gonna eat it at that point because I wasn't eating. Like I just didn't have an appetite. So that definitely would help. I wouldn't say that I have been sticking to a low sodium diet, so that might be why my swelling is kind of like on and off, but that is supposed to help, doing low sodium. Drinking a lot of water, which I'm also not very good at, but that definitely helps. And that's pretty much it. I would say that I would overall do it again. I loved my surgeon. Dr. Reich was absolutely amazing. He operates out of New York City. I had the most amazing experience with him. He actually gives all of his patients his personal cell number. So if you have any problems or any questions during recovery, which I definitely abused that because I was a nervous wreck texting him, asking him if things were normal and what to do and stuff like that. But he was amazing. I could not recommend him and his staff more. I love my nose so far. I'm excited to see the swelling go down even more. And if you are getting a nose job, looking to get one, and you just wanted information on it, I hope this helped. If you are recovering, I am wishing you a quick and speedy recovery. It is tough and I feel you. If you guys have any questions or anything else that I didn't touch on that you want to know about, please message me or leave it in the comments. You can message me on Instagram. My Instagram is at Alexa Gantz. And then my TikTok is also the same, at Alexa Gantz. And you can find me on both those platforms. Please message me, reach out with questions, check out my TikTok videos for before and afters of my nose. And I am so happy I could make a video for you guys on all things rhinoplasty. My nose job was probably one of the best things that I have done for myself, and I am so happy with my result. I will continue to keep you guys updated in my vlogs on my nose and the healing process. I'm only a month out from my surgery, and I already am loving the result. So please like and subscribe down below, and I will actually link Dr. Reich's website in the caption of this video. So if you guys are looking for a surgeon, you can reach out to him and his practice, and they are very great with getting back to you, and they can answer other questions for you as well. So thank you for watching, guys. Like and subscribe. I will see you in my next video.